Here you go.
Yeah. On the record, in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Teresa Ann Walensky, file number 23-03152 FY, council appearance.
Eric Reynolds on behalf of the people, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. John Abbott representing Ms. Walensky. She's seated to my right.
Okay, Ms. Walensky, how are you? I'm well, thank you. Today's the date and the time that's set for a preliminary examination of which I understand we're ready to proceed.
Yes and no, Your Honor. I just would like to address the court briefly prior to this, and I've had conversations with Mr. Abbott about this. I was informed about 20 minutes ago or so, actually now based on that, it would be almost an hour ago now, that one of the people subpoenaed witnesses, Officer Uberoth, had a family emergency. One of his children had an extremely high fever, and he had to go take care of the child. And so with that, I mean, the people would ask for a brief adjournment in order for Officer Uberoth to attend. However, the people are ready to start. I believe I only planned on calling 3 witnesses. We do have Officer Sam Kendall and Officer William Turbo here. People are prepared to start. And if the court is, I guess we do also have a backup plan that if the court is not willing to grant a continuation, we have a backup plan for that as well, Your Honor.
And Mr. Abbott.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're prepared to proceed today, and I object to any delays. The client's in custody, waiting for this day for this preliminary exam to have it. I understand that there's a family emergency, and I'm also concerned because I want to hear Officer Uberoth's testimony as well. So I object to the adjournment, Your Honor. And if the court would allow it, I would stipulate to the entry of a couple of pages of Uberoth's police report instead of Uberoth.
Okay, a couple of things. I see a PA 53 violation in here. I see no indication that she was arraigned on this PA 53 violation. However, she did see Joyce Buchanan last week, the 27th, says PCC held on record and bond was amended to 20,000 cash surety. So I can assume it was because she was arraigned, but I don't know that that's why her bond was amended. Were you present for her probable cause conference?
It was. Let me see what I. She's currently on no bond right now.
A lot going on in here. I see one bond that says 5,000, 10%. Then I see one note that says 20,000 cash surety. And then I see remand on the PA 53. Is there a note with JIS?
Change the ball.
Was she arraigned on the violation?
All Kelly put in was probable cause.
She was obviously arraigned on the 17th because Magistrate Milmore issued a bond at that time. And then I see a whole new bond form for the 20th. I'm sorry, the 27th.
Let's have a misdemeanor case.
I recognize that, but this has this number on it.
Right.
And our court file indicates she was arraigned on the 17th. Mr. Etheridge was present for that. And the 27th was the date of her PCC. Interestingly enough, someone printed a PA 53 form my name on it. I did not amend this bond to that. So,
I have no notes on any of them.
So, if I may, Your Honor, based
Yes,
on the
please.
dates that you've given, it looks like, at least from the notes in my file, that discovery was emailed to the, or was at least added on the 17th. So I believe that arraignment would be on this matter, Your Honor. I don't recall Judge Buchanan last week arraigning on a bond violation, though I do have in my notes that, yes, she did amend, or she did set a bond at a $20,000 cash surety with a GPS tether, Your Honor, last week.
oh, and I'm not, I don't know why she would not have arraigned, because this PA 53's been sitting in the file since the 21st, which would have been before the PCC. There's just nothing addressing that. I'm also crossing my name off this because if she set the bond, and it's gonna be her name on here.
John Lee was present during her arraignment on the misdemeanor assault charge, where she was remanded for a PA 53 violation, but there's no evidence that she was arraigned.
Right, and I'm assuming that could have been the same violation as this. I don't know. I know she was clearly arraigned in this matter, this felony matter on the 17th. Mr. Etheridge was present, and then she saw Judge Buchanan last week because I was not here for her preliminary examination. And that's where I see a different bond than what was in the file beforehand. And so, and I do see where it was remanded on the PA 53. I just don't know why she was not arraigned. Nonetheless, I have a PA 53 violation here. It alleges that you committed the following violation. It says you were told at the time of your arraignment not to commit a crime while released, and that you allegedly on or about October 20th, 2023, violated by committing a domestic assault upon a Charles Kidd. So if you are found to be in violation of your bond, that would be a contempt of court order with the maximum penalty of punishment of 93 days in jail and or up to $7,500 in fines, okay? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so you have the right to have a contested hearing on that violation. You have the right to be represented by your attorney at that contested hearing. And so if I understand this correctly, Mr. Abbott, there's a new misdemeanor that stemmed from that.
That's correct, Your Honor.
So the court will enter a plea of not guilty on the violation.
For the record, Your Honor, I believe that the initial pretrial is set on this coming Monday before Judge Ward.
Okay, as to the request for a continuance, Officer Rock was present today. He has no control over any family or medical emergencies. The court will grant a continuation for his presence should it be necessary. So the motion to dismiss is denied. Any other preliminary matters?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
I don't know what his report contains and what would be necessary. I'm assuming that you're proceeding without the necessary or the complaining witness. Is that what's going on?
Yes, Your Honor. I have planned to call 3 witnesses. All are LPD officers, Your Honor. And just for the record, the reason for that is that well, it's not marked in that way on the complaint. I guess would be the alleged victim here is a 5-year-old child, Your Honor.
Well, sounds.
I'll testify.
Yes.
Any additional preliminary matters?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
Nothing from the defense, thank you.
You can call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The people would call Officer Sam Kendall.
It's only Courtney's.
You need to help link up to the polygon. Solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury. Thank you. You can have a seat, officer. Please state your first and last name and spell both of them.
First name is Sagar, last name is Kendall, spelled Sagarkandel.
Proceed, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Officer Kendall. Officer Kendall, how are you employed?
I'm currently employed as a police officer for the city of Lansing.
All right, and how long have you been a police officer with the city of Lansing?
Approximately 4.5 years.
All right, and were you working in that capacity on October 16th, 2023?
I was.
Okay, and what shift were you working that day?
I was working our night shift road patrol.
Okay, so were you working, it would be in the morning then of October 16th?
I was.
Okay. And did there come a point in time that morning where your duties took you to 3130 Turner Street?
It did.
And why were you dispatched to that location?
The entire night shift patrol was dispatched to that location for a child that had left his home, was missing. And we responded to do an extensive area search to locate the child.
When you arrived at 3130 Turner, how did you proceed from there?
I got there. I did a check of the residence where the child had left from to ensure that the child was not home. After that, we were divided into groups and did an extensive area search of the surrounding neighborhoods off of that Turner Street address.
Okay. And how long would you say, if you had to estimate, how long were you searching that area for the child?
Several hours.
Okay. And did you manage to find the child?
Ultimately, yes, we did.
When you were searching, let me clarify, when you were searching the area around 3130 Turner, did you manage to find the child?
As we're searching, there was another call that we had received around early morning from Community Street, where the caller that said the child was at that residence.
Okay, and do you remember the address that you were dispatched to on Community Street?
I don't recall the exact numbers, but it was on Community Street, just off northeast.
Okay. If you were to view a copy of your report, would it refresh your memory as to the address that you went to?
Absolutely.
Permission to approach your.
Yes.
You can just look up when your memories refresh. Permission to approach.
Yes.
And what was that address that you were dispatched to on Community Street?
733 Community Street.
Okay, and is that location in the city of Lansing?
It is.
In Ingham County?
Correct.
Okay. And I guess you kind of already went over this. Why were you dispatched to that location?
We received a call from a male there advising a female that was in the house had brought a child home and they were up in the attic.
Oh. And what did you do when you arrived at 733 Community Street?
When I arrived there, I knocked on the door. Nobody answered initially. With the information that we had about a very young autistic child being inside the residence, I went inside, made contact with the elderly male that was on the bed in the living room area. He kind of directed me to where the child was, which was upstairs in the attic.
All right. And so when you were informed that the child was in the attic, how did you proceed?
I located the door that led to the attic. Once I got there, I observed a child on the top of the stairs of the attic, standing there.
Okay, and when you entered when you were going up the attic, was the door to the attic open or?
It was the door was in the bottom. It was closed, and there's stairs that led up to the attic. And the kid was on the top of the stairs.
Okay. And can you please, for the court, just describe the stairs that you went up?
Well, I got to the bottom of the stairs. I saw the child. He was up there. He didn't appear to be injured. Did not have any shoes on. And I positively identified that child as the one that was missing. And I asked him to come downstairs to me. I was able to just carry him out of the stairs and hand him off to another officer that was in the living room area.
And what was the, like I said, can you briefly describe the stair area in the house? What did you observe there?
It's just normal wooden stairs that led upstairs to an open attic, where they had located the female upstairs sleeping.
Okay. So after you brought the child out of the attic, what did you do after that?
I handed the child to another officer who then carried the child out to the outside where Lansing Fire Department was on standby to medical evaluation.
Then I think you may have answered this, but just to clarify, when you accessed the attic, was the door to access the attic open or closed at that time?
It was closed. The door was in the like the main level that led upstairs.
Okay. No further questions at this time.
What part of town is Community Street?
I'm sorry.
Where's Community Street located?
It's off northeast, so just south of Sheridan Road.
Oh, that's in City of Lansing County.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it just the Broadwoods were you intending for this witness to identify?
No.
Prosecuting. Can you join the Zoom? Might be easier. Yeah, it said you couldn't share for some reason in there. That's what popped up on there. I don't know if it'll work. If you log in, I'll just make you a co-host.
Okay.
He's muted. Oh, he just unmuted himself. Sorry, don't unmute. Nope, stay muted. Let him share. Oh, okay, sounds good.
Cool. Good afternoon. So, just to be sure, the information you got when you first started investigating this missing child was that the child walked away from home,
Yep, that was,
and this is an autistic child,
correct.
and you mentioned that there was a sleeping female upstairs in the attic.
Correct.
You didn't go up the attic though,
I didn't completely go up to the attic, I was in the stairs.
so you can't identify them. Okay. But when you arrived there, you had your body cam on?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to show you something that I'm going to identify as offense exhibit A. And just look at it for a second. We'll see if you can tell what it is, okay?
Hello?
So at this point, did you see enough of this to recognize what it is?
Let's say my body would
Won't stop. That's your body cam?
Correct.
And this accurately and fairly represents what you did that day as you went into the house?
Absolutely.
Okay. If I play it, right? May I admit it as evidence?
Are you making a motion to make this as defense exhibit
I
A?
am moving to make this defense exhibit A.
No objection.
Okay, defense A is admitted.
All right, so we'll just play for the first 2 minutes, because that's about how long it took to find it. Okay.
Hello, police?
Can you create a call for that community address so I can check the prior?
Hello?
Okay.
Lansing
I
Police?
had a suspicious situation called in by Teresa. It was for
Where's
drugs
he at?
flying in the area, and they were like detailing the
Catch
drugs.
my breath.
Okay.
I'm sure he's fine.
Where is he?
He's in the attic.
How do I get there?
Hold on, just to the end of to the right, going upstairs. Please be careful.
Hello?
Farm in the area. Okay.
Sir, how do I get to your attic?
Door right there.
This one?
I think. Here's the door open.
Cam? Cam, are you in here, buddy? Hi. You want to come down and talk to me?
Hi.
Come on. You're okay, buddy. Are you Cam?
Where?
Huh?
Yeah, he is.
31, I'm out with him here. Just have the medics come here, please, for eval. Hi, little man.
Okay.
Come. You're okay.
Try to time you clear on that. He has been located at 736 Kennedy. I tried back there on it. It's 345 and we're trying to follow where.
This is him, right?
Where's the lady?
don't know. We need to clear the attic. I don't know.
Here, buddy. Here, come on.
Got it?
So where is, who owns the,
You okay?
how did he come to be?
Dancing Police.
Police department, anybody upstairs? Okay, where is his girlfriend?
Someone go with Phil.
Okay, now, that's a yes. He has been located there.
Yes, we got him here. Erica's with him. Just have to.
All right, so that accurately represents what happened that morning.
Yes, sir.
So when you opened the front door was unlocked.
Right.
And then there was another door, it's like the front porch had been turned into some sort of a workshop.
Right.
So drill press and some tools and things. Isn't as clear on the screen as it is on the other screen. But then the door from the porch into the living area was also unlocked.
Correct.
And then there was a man there on the bed. Did you identify him?
I didn't identify him, but he was identified by the officers.
And that's Mr. Kidd?
I don't know his name, sir.
Okay, and that's, do you know if that's the guy that called the police and told them where the child was?
I believe so, yeah.
Right, so he called from there, and as he's walking in, he told you where to find it,
Correct.
and after meandering through the house, you did find the door to the attic,
Right.
and that was unlocked,
Attic door was unlocked.
and you called up to Camden, right?
Yep.
And he was in a pretty good mood, it looked like. And he came right down the stairs to you.
He did.
You recall what Mr. Kidd said as you were walking past him?
I believe he said that Cam was okay. I don't recall the exact words.
Right. Right. Thank you. No further questions.
May you redirect?
Just one second. Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
And Officer Kendall will be excused.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, officer. You call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The people would call Officer William Turbo. Yeah.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury.
I do.
Thank you, officer. You can have a seat. State your first and last name and then spell both of them.
William Turbo, WILLIAM
You can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Officer Turbo. Officer Turbo, how are you employed?
I'm a police officer with the Lansing Police Department.
And how long have you been a police officer with the Lansing Police Department?
About 2.5 years.
All right. And were you working in that capacity on the morning of October 16th?
Yes, I was.
All right. And at some point, did your duties take you to the area of 3130 Turner Street?
Yes.
And why were you dispatched to that location?
For a missing child.
Okay. And how did you proceed when you arrived at that location?
Began to search the area extensively on foot and in my car.
Okay. And were you able to find the child in that area?
Not in that specific area, no.
Okay, and did there come a point later that morning when your duties took you to 733 Community Street?
Yes,
All right, and is that location in the city of Lansing,
yes,
in Ingham County?
yes.
And why were you dispatched to that location?
The male that lived there called and said the child was there in his attic.
Okay, and when you arrived on scene, how did you proceed?
I walked inside, I saw Officer Kendall taking the child into his care, took him outside to the medics, and I went upstairs where the kid was found.
Right, and when you, can you describe how you accessed, when you say you went upstairs, was that to like a second floor or to?
Yeah, to go, so
Well, how would you describe the area you went to?
the attic,
Okay, that's, can you describe how you accessed the attic at that time?
from the staircase,
And can you describe the condition of the stairs for the court?
they're extremely narrow. There's a cluster of things at the bottom, with just a bunch of clutter at the bottom of the stairs.
And did you make it all the way up to the attic?
Yes,
All right, and can you, what did you observe when you accessed the attic?
I saw a female sleeping on the ground. There's random things all over the place. There's no bed, there's no blankets that I remember. There was cat feces all over the place. There's 2 loaded firearms up there. There's multiple crack pipes on the ground. A bunch of boxes full of like, car parts, oily car parts.
Do you recall if there was any way to let me rephrase that. Outside of the door that you entered, was there any way to see into the attic?
Other than going up there, you mean?
Yes.
No.
Okay. At this time, Your Honor, permission to approach?
Yes.
All right. Officer Turbo, at this time, I want to show you what's been marked as People's Exhibits 1 through 10. You can just take a look at those pictures. And then look up when you're done.
I'm gonna look at all of them.
Yes, just if you can look through all of them. real quickly. And do you recognize those photographs?
Yes, I do.
And how do you recognize them?
I took those photos.
And are those a fair and accurate representation of what you saw in that house that day?
Yes.
All right. At this time, Your Honor, people would move for admittance of People's Exhibits 1 through 10.
Your Honor, I fail to see the relevance. of
What's the
what-
relevance of the exhibits?
The relevance, Your Honor, would be to give the court an idea of what the officers were looking at that day and to provide images of the area where the child was being held at this time, Your Honor, as well as the conditions of the area.
Are those elements of unlawful imprisonment?
I believe they would go to the elements of, I believe they would go to the elements of whether the person, at least perhaps not all of the photos, but based those along with, it would be the testimony of Officer Ubrock would go to whether the individual who was being confined felt free to leave at that time, Your Honor. And if they were able to safely leave.
These photographs are going to go to the elements of secretly confining, which means confinement or location was secret. Is that,
Yes, some of them will, Your Honor. Other ones are just to give a complete picture of the area where the.
I don't need to see a picture of the area. I don't think it's relevant. Yeah,
Okay.
junction sustained.
If I may approach them again, Your Honor. And at this time, Your Honor, the people would move for admission of People's Exhibits 1, 8, and 9.
1, 8, and 9. To the objection. The objections to People's 1, 8, and 9.
No.
People's 1, 8, and 9 are admitted.
Permission to approach again, Your Honor.
Yes.
So, Officer Turbo, directing your attention to what's been marked as People's Exhibit 1. Can you describe for the court what that's a picture of?
That would be a picture of the attic standing from the stairwell.
All right, and looking at that picture, would there be any way for someone to, outside of the stairwell, you came up for someone to see into the attic?
No,
Okay, and why not?
because there's a blanket over the window.
Okay. And then directing your attention to People's Exhibit 8. What is that a picture of?
It's a picture looking down the stairwell from the top of it.
All right, and then combined with that, if I can point your attention to People's Exhibit 9. What is that a photo of?
It's a picture of the stairs with my foot on the top stair showing how narrow it is. It took up almost half of my foot.
All right, and what size shoe do you wear, just for reference to the court?
My work boots are size 11 and a half.
Okay. So did you, when you, permission to publish this, Court, Your
Yes.
Honor? So after, Officer Turbo, after you accessed the attic, how did you proceed from there?
I attempted to wake up the female that was sleeping on the ground. She eventually woke up. Then we tried talking to her about what happened, but kind of agitated, so we detained her and put her outside.
Okay, and what, did anything happen when you attempted to arrest the individual?
Before she stood up, she picked up a crack pipe that was next to her head and threw it in the corner of the room.
Okay.
And then when she stood up, she didn't really want to go in handcuffs, started slightly resisting by straightening her arms out and not letting us put her arms behind her back.
But you were eventually able to handcuff the individual?
Yes.
Okay. And did you ever ID the individual who
I
you
did.
found up in the attic?
I personally did not.
Okay, but you did see that individual?
Yes.
And do you see the individual who you arrested anywhere here in the courtroom today?
Yes.
And can you please indicate where they're sitting in the article of clothing they're wearing?
They're sitting next to the fence turning in the blue shirt.
Please let the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant.
We have an objection to identification.
No, thank you.
Identification is noted.
Okay. And then just a few more questions. Officer Turbo, did you recover anything from the attic?
Yes.
And what did you recover?
2 crack pipes and a cell phone.
And who did that cell phone belong to?
I believe it belonged to the defendant.
All right, and why do you believe that?
It was next to where she was sleeping.
Okay, and did you learn anything about that phone? Let me rephrase that. Yes, sorry. When you picked up that phone, was that phone, did that phone still have battery?
Yes.
And how do you know that?
So I pushed the button and it lit up immediately.
Okay, and were you ever told, no, yes, without saying what, no, never mind. Sorry, let me rethink. Give me just 1 second here. Was there a specific reason you checked to see if that phone still had battery?
Because I was told it was dead.
And who informed you that it was dead?
Officer Bro.
Okay. And do you know where he learned it from?
From the-
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
It's not even.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, objection sustained. Cross-examination.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So this started out as a child that walked away from his home.
To my knowledge, yes.
And you were informed this is an autistic child.
Yes.
And what time did that start? When was that called in, you know?
I don't remember the exact time, but it was roughly 4 a.m.
So about 4 a.m. you got called. And do you know? And shortly thereafter, was there an Amber Alert published to the community?
I don't know.
Okay. But at some point, somebody called in and said they found the child you're looking for?
Yes.
Was it the guy that was in the house?
Yes.
And what time of day was that?
About 7:30 in the morning.
So about 3.5 hours later?
Yes.
Okay. And did you get any information about where the child had been found by the?
I did not personally speak to the defendant.
Okay. That was Bailey Uberoth that spoke with her?
Yes.
And did you get any information about anyone else that had knowledge of the child being in the act?
No.
Did you see anybody interacting with the child, talking with him?
Other than Officer Kendall.
And did the child say anything that you recall him saying?
My knowledge, he was nonverbal.
Nonverbal? Nothing further on this one.
Can you redirect?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
Thank you. May this officer be excused?
Yes.
Thank you, officer. Or your next witness.
And people have no more witnesses at this time, Your Honor. The people would at this time ask for a continuation for Officer Uberoth to appear and testify. Or Uberoth.
No, sounds good. Yes. Well, do you need 2 weeks to subpoena the officer?
Yes, Your Honor. 2 weeks, I believe, would be sufficient.
Okay. We can do number 16. November 16th at what time? 10:30. At 10:30.
Thank you, Robert.
No problem. Any additional matters for today's record?
Nothing from the people, Your
All
Honor.
right. Will the court consider changing bond at this point? The defendant's in custody since this.
The remand you need?
She's been remanded since she picked up the new charge, which is a misdemeanor.
Okay, what's her bond in the misdemeanor charge?
Not noted in the notes. 510%. Your sister's already paid.
That's correct. Okay, bond was set in the underlying matter at 20,000 cash surety. That will continue. Any additional matters?
Nothing from the people, Your
Oh,
Honor.
thank you.
Thank you.
I'll collect my exhibits here.
Yes, please.
Okay. I will have them ready next time. Wish to approach.
Yes. Sure, 16.
So, how many hours?